G'day guys. Rainforests at night are a totally different world from that during the day. During the day you get things like the monkeys, hornbills, all sorts of bird life, lizards. But then at night, totally different. Tigers start to come out, clouded leopards, the big cats of Southeast Asia. You can get sun bears, the smallest bear species, geckos more often than not. But some of the most special animals here in the rainforests of Southeast Asia are those that spend their lives up in the trees. Things like the colugo, formerly known as the flying lemur, totally bizarre. The slow loris, one of the only venomous mammals in the world. The flying squirrels that glide from tree to tree. All of these mammals are incredibly uncommon and so difficult to find. You got to get really lucky, but sometimes you do. We spent 4 or 5 days not long ago in Langkawi learning from one of the masters of nocturnal spotting for animals just like these. We spent time with Priscillia of the Night Spotting Project to learn just what it takes and just what makes these animals so special.
This is at different time, record the time, and the animal you see, and then you can look at the graph, like which animal has seen at what time.
Whoa!
So I'm Priscillia. I'm actually from France, but I work here in Malaysia as part of my PhD research. I came here 2 years ago to study a bit of the animal here. So my research is mostly about nocturnal arboreal mammals. So it's all the animals that live on top of the tree and live at night. They are really understudied because it's not that easy to find them everywhere. But with new technology, it's a bit easier for us. So we go at night, we use like thermal camera, we use red light that helps us see the animal. And the study I've done is to look at degraded habitats and also forests or farms, for example, and compare to see where are some species and why, for example, they are more in the forest or why they prefer the farm and why this is important for us. So the species I study, they are what we call arboreal nocturnal mammals. There is, for example, the slow loris, the colugo, you have the civets, the giant flying squirrels. And all these species are really attractive to me because, I don't know, they live at night, and the night's such an amazing world when there's a lot of things alive, not like during the day, because it's mostly too hot most of the time here. And most of these animals are still understudied because it's a bit more difficult to go at night. So just to talk about the slow loris, it's an animal that most people might know because of internet, the pet trade, but they're the only venomous primates in the world. That means potentially if they bite you, you can die, and that's why it's really dangerous to keep them. But they're really nice animals, they won't really attack you in purpose, and they're really important for the ecosystem because they eat a lot of insects. So it's a pest control for the farm, for the cultures. The colugo, the other species I study, is a bit interesting because so far we don't know a lot about them. We are kind of the only ones starting doing an ecological behavior data on them. So we don't really know what's going on, but we found out they're actually really social animal. So they are not solitary like most people think. For example, in 300 meters we found 25 individuals, so that's a lot. So there is a bit of group going on, but we need to figure out if it's male, female, family. So it's really, really interesting. And these animals are also really important for us because they pollinate trees, but they also help the trees having better fruits. So when the farmers kill them, it's really actually bad for them. For the colugo, we really hope to learn more in the future because, like I said, we don't know a lot. For example, we just discovered last year that they use ultrasound to communicate. So we hope to be able to study more their communication system. How do they interact with each other? Is it by sounds or mostly by facial expression or things like this? But also their social behavior, the relationship with the mom and the baby, how long do the baby stay with the mom. So far we don't really know. We have some ideas, but it's not really clear if they stay like 2 years, 3 years, how it's important for them. Like again, the social structure, so how many individuals and how do they interact with each other. Where do they live exactly? Because that's interesting. We found a lot of them on the islands, like Langkawi or Penang. But on the mainland, they are quite rare in some places, so we are not really sure why. So that's something else we really want to focus on. As part of my PhD, I created a night spotting project, so you can find it online. It's a platform on Facebook, Instagram. It's mostly outreach for people to discover about all the species we study, with a bit of information, but also to follow them, because every night we will share stories of what we're doing. And I think it's really important for people to be able to follow us, because it's maybe something you won't do, go at night in the forest. So one thing I really like here is especially the outreach part, because we managed to do a lot of activities with kids, roadshow and talks, and I think this is really important because kids are so cute, and when you teach them something they don't know, they're like, oh, I love this, I want to do that when I grow older. And I think as part of conservation, if you do research but you don't share with other people, it doesn't matter, no one really knows what's going on. So it's really, really important, and it's so amazing to see all the people being interesting, talking to us and asking questions.
So talking to Priscillia, you can get a real idea of just how special she finds these animals and how special the nighttime is in forests like these. However, your back garden, your park, just the streets around you, can have a totally different life than during the day. Why don't you guys get outside, go out at night, grab a head torch, look up in the trees, see what you can find. Owls, small mammals, if you're in Australia, possums, who knows? There's all sorts of stuff out there in the night time that maybe you've never even thought of. But now's your chance. Get out there, get wild, and you never know what you might find. Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll see you next time.